Ever wondered who provides security to federal buildings? If you're guessing local police departments, you'd be wrong. And if you're guessing state police departments, you'd be even more wrong. In this video, I will cover the Federal Protective Service, which is the agency that does exactly that. I'm Nicholas, and this is the Law Enforcement Agency Information Channel. The Federal Protective Service, or FPS for short, not to be mistaken with the Federal Protective Force, is a civilian-staffed, uniformed United States federal law enforcement agency that falls under the United States Department of Homeland Security, or DHS for short. The Federal Protective Service is responsible for protecting federally owned or administered buildings. This includes federal buildings, federal courthouses, federal facilities, federal correctional facilities, federal land borders, and much more. While they protect a wide range of federally owned or administered buildings, they primarily focus on protecting federal buildings that either, number one, lack policing and security, number two, are owned or operated by the Department of Homeland Security, its parent agency, or number three, are owned or operated by the General Services Administration, its former parent agency. By doing these duties, the Federal Protective Service ensures the safety of not only federal property, but the employees and people within federal property. Founded in 1971, the Federal Protective Service originally fell under the General Services Administration, or GSA for short. This was simply because the majority of federal buildings that the Federal Protective Service protected and still protects are managed by the General Services Administration. But shortly after the 9/11 attacks in 2003, the Federal Protective Service was transferred to the authority of the Immigration and Customs Enforcement within the newly founded Department of Homeland Security. In 2009, it became an independent agency within the Department of Homeland Security. Federal Protective Service officers and special agents, just like nearly all federal officers and federal agents, have authority to carry firearms and make warrantless arrests for federal crimes, both on and off federal property. The Federal Protective Service has domestic-wide jurisdiction throughout the United States and its individual territories to, number one, protect civilian-staffed, federally owned or administered buildings. Number two, to investigate federal crimes taken on civilian-staffed, federally owned or administered buildings. This includes finding and arresting individuals charged with committing crimes on civilian-staffed, federally owned or administered federal buildings. But it is important to point out that they derive their authority and jurisdiction from Title 40, Section 1315 of the U.S. Code. There are several differences between the U.S. Marshal Service and the Federal Protective Service when it comes to protecting federal courthouses. Probably the most notable difference is that the U.S. Marshal Service focuses explicitly on protecting members of court hearings, like judges, and jury members rather than the actual courthouse itself. The Federal Protective Service, on the other hand, focuses on protecting anyone and everyone within the physical property of the federal courthouse. So, in other words, they don't care whether you're a part of a court hearing or not. As long as you are within the federal courthouse they are protecting, they have responsibility. They still have responsibility over protecting you. It could be a homeless man, and they would still have responsibility over protecting him. But another notable difference is that unlike the Federal Protective Service, the U.S. Marshal Service provides security, 24/7 security to federal judicial officials, while the Federal Protective Service only provides security to judicial officials when they are within when they are in federal courthouses. Federal Protective Service officers and special agents train for approximately 25 to 30 weeks at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe, Georgia, which they also protect. The Federal Protective Service works with several law enforcement agencies. It typically works with law enforcement agencies that operate at the federal level, as those are the type of law enforcement agencies that they typically share concurrent jurisdiction with. Specific examples of or specific federal law enforcement agencies that they work with include the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the U.S. Marshal Service, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, the U.S. Secret Service, the U.S. Coast Guard, the Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center Police, the Federal Emergency Management Agency Office of the Chief Security Officer, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and there's many others. The Department of Commerce Police, the the National Institute of Standards and Technology Police, the National Institute of Health Police, the Pentagon Force Protection Agency, the National Security Agency Police, the Central Intelligence Agency Police, the Defense Intelligence Agency Police, the Defense Logistics Agency Police, the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency Police, I know there's more, the National Gallery of Art, Office of Protective Services, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, Office of Protective Services, what was the other one? There's multiple others. And the U.S. Postal Inspection Service. But yeah, those are the main ones they frequently work with on a day-to-day basis. Although there is one more. Sorry. The U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, Department of Public Safety. And there's probably more, but those are like really the main ones they work with. The Federal Protective Service reports to the Secretary of Homeland Security, who reports to the President of the United States, or POTUS for short.